Oh no!
Hello Warriors, this is Mars. Welcome back to another ESO PvP commentary, I guess I should say. So I have some good news and I have some good news. I have a build video coming out soon for this build, and it's the best race is not going to be Redguard, and it's not just one build video, it's going to be two build videos. I was considering doing one build video with two different builds, but it's going to be complicated doing all the writing and trying to smash everything together. So it would just be easier on me just to do two build videos instead of one. It has nothing to do with more views, a little bit. Anyway, it's going to be two separate, it's going to be the same build, the same playstyle, but two very different builds with two different races. Spoilers, it's going to be Orc and Nord. One is going to be in medium and one is going to be in heavy. Those are just realistically the best two races to do this build with. Granted, you can do it with the Redguard, you can do it with any other race. It's just the fact that you make so much sacrifices when realistically, if you just care about stat, just play either Nord or Orc this patch, or possibly any of the following patches until they make changes to races. On that note, I've been trying out two different sets for each build, and they both are pretty solid. I mean, I'm not going to try and hide it. I'm just going to give a descriptive name. Now, I've been working with Powerful Assault, paired with 7th Legion, and Witch Knight's Defiance. I pretty much said that in the last video. Those two are really good sets, and they offer pretty much as almost anything else. It's just up to playstyle, and it's up to personal preference on what you desire to use, and really your own playstyle. With one, you have a bit more options. The other is just pure damage and can only be one bard with the setup. Now, that doesn't mean one is still going to be better than the other. I mean, obviously, it depends on what you're looking for. Because if you're looking for more team cohesion, Powerful Assault 100%. If you're looking just to burn somebody's hairline off, Witch Knight's Defiance paired with 7th Legion is perfect. Or you could do Witch Knights with New Moon Acolyte. New Moon Acolyte is pretty good, but I kind of wanted to make a change. I've been running it for so long, but it's still a good setup with this. It's just the fact that you, as a Redguard, you still have to make a lot of sacrifices. It's just not something I was looking to make, but it was fun to use. The whole playstyle has been fun. I've enjoyed this patch immensely. I've been working on integrating different things. I never gave up on the build. I've tried making different poisons. I worked on different stats. Everything is pretty fun. I mean, I have some bursts. It's just like, no matter how good I make the build for Redguard, it's just going to be better on Orc and Nord. That's just 100%. No matter what I do, it's going to be better on those two races because they're really good. You can do this with the Dunmer. You can do this with an Imperial. Imperial and Redguard are kind of at the bottom for like best race for this setup, but Imperial is a bit better off since it has more health, so more survivability. Granted, if you run into Nightblades that will burst your hairline off, you're still going to get bursted just as quickly, because health won't really mitigate any of the damage done. It'll just keep you alive. But, yeah. So, how I feel about the two sets, integrating them. Well, I guess I should say three sets, because realistically, you can use New Moon Acolyte and it will work really well. It's just you won't get anything backbarred. Same thing with Witch Knight's Defiance. Honestly, if Witch Knight's Defiance was a timeable effect that had no refresh or had a slight refresh, like if it lasted 10 seconds when you cast a poison ability, if it was like that, it would definitely be the best damage set in game for like classes that had poison status effects or any type of poison effect. But since it doesn't, it can only be one bard on this build, which still isn't bad because of its 4-piece. Its 4-piece gives all weapon damage, which is like pivotal for surviving in most encounters, since your vigor takes will be like insane. Now, Powerful Assault, you get pretty much the max stam, the max health, and weapon damage, not just for yourself, but for your team. So if you'll have a lot of burst. It'll give you a lot of burst no matter what. And I don't even have a Nerdhoned sword board yet, since most of my spammables are on my sword board. It has a lot of good damage. I like it. I like it a lot. I really should have jumped on it much sooner. But it's just the fact that I had to switch to medium and then I had to switch Munduses. I kind of didn't know in the beginning where I needed to go to make it most effective. Powerful Assault in medium is like really good, but you just have to have enough resistances to complement your health recovery and your amount of damage, since you're giving up so much healing from the heavy armor passive. Not to mention, you kind of have to work on making sure you build into sustain, because heavy armor actually has quite a bit of sustain. I was looking at I don't remember the name of the passive, the Constitution passive, yes. So basically you get passive sustain from heavy armor. So like I gave about half of what it was. I mean, it's still pretty decent now since I'm still wearing a 2-piece heavy, but it's you still have to kind of make some sacrifices when you're in medium. Whereas like since the medium build is obviously going to be a Nord, I get way more damage just because I don't have to make any sacrifices in terms of resistances. In fact, the Nord passive is just going to give me more resistances than anything else. So yeah, it's just the fact that Redguard ain't that great compared to everything else. Well, not everything. Well, no, yeah, I said it right. Redguard ain't that great compared to anything else, but still, I love Redguard to death. Now, I think I'm backtracking, but I want to say Witch Knight. Witch Knight, really good damage. It's probably going to make Orc shine. If anything, I've run the numbers on it, and I'm probably going to put this in the description of the build video, and I'm probably going to talk about it a bit more in depth. Like, Orc's passives, Orc's damage passives alone, on top of their survivability passives, they're really strong, like ridiculously strong, just because of how it stacks and how, well, let me not say stack. Yeah, it stacks, and the damage values is given as multiplicative. Like, I ran the numbers. Orc got a increase of 300 to 400 weapon damage on top of everything else compared to Redguard. They're just better when it comes to straight damage, so you don't have to worry about trying to run a whole bunch of damage sets. Like, you don't even initially need a high value of damage with an Orc. They just have good survivability, good damage, and you can build into sustain. Like, realistically, I am kind of backtracking, but Orc, it's easy for Orc to build into sustain compared to Redguard, just because Redguard technically is offensive sustain and can have passive sustain since you can build into it. But yeah, Orc is just in a better position to not have to worry about it, whereas you can just build for damage and still have sustain and just do heavy attacks every now and again to make sure you stay up. Oh, that was a mouthful. So talking a little bit about the survivability, Nord is going to have significantly more survivability even in medium. You can run Nord with a heavy armor setup, but realistically, Nord in medium is just going to be better than Redguard and heavy, just because you'll be able to build into damage. You'll have sustain from the medium arm passives. You'll still have some sustain from the Constitution passives. When you take damage, you'll get Magicka and Stamina back. It won't be as much as heavy, but at the same time, I don't think Nord would need it since they get ultimate. Orc would be good, really good in heavy armor, like scary good in heavy armor. They'd still have the same amount of resistances, but since the fact that they get health back every time they do a direct damage attack, they'll be, every 4 seconds they'll be fine. And the same thing I can say about Nord. They still pretty much get what they really have a half of what Bloodspawn provides, and that paired with Bloodspawn is like, it's gonna be crazy. It probably is crazy in terms of ult gen. So both of them are going to be significantly strong no matter what. Keep in mind though that this doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be invulnerable to damage. When somebody hits you with like 3 different effects and then a proc set goes off, you're still potentially going to die. So you're going to be reliant on maintaining your skills and seeing if you can cycle through them properly. This is a really skill intensive build, just like most builds. You're not using Dizzying Swing, you're relying mainly on your dots. Your dots are realistically, your dots are what's going to do a majority of the damage. So dots have to be up almost 100%. And with Venomous Claw being one of the strongest dots in the game, it's really what's going to carry you. If you maintain Venomous Claw on this build, you'll pretty much round out your burst around that. It's really maintaining Venomous Claw, having your poisons up, having your Noxious Breath up, doing Deep Slash after the reverb. Because most people don't know, if most people who play this type of playstyle don't know that you should follow up a lot of your burst after the reverb, since it has the damage up front and then damage back in the back end. So it has a lot of burst once like the dots are ticking on them, and then the follow up really does a good portion of the damage. I guess since I'm talking about skills, I guess I should talk about the burst a bit. You can use Deep Slash and Noxious Breath interchangeably. That's why I have them on the same bar. I was contemplating putting Cauterize on that bar since most of my damage is going to come from that bar, but it wouldn't be as much of a benefit. It's better to have it back barred, since that's going to be mainly my healing bar, and vigor has to be maintained a lot better than cauterize. If you try and hit cauterize at the wrong moments, like when you're already below 50%, it's not going to benefit you that much, because it has a cast time applied to it, so it's going to be too slow. And by the time you try to heal through damage, you're going to be dead. But yeah, if you maintain vigor, you'll heal through just about anything. Even if your rally is down, which you should have your rally up, you really want to make sure that's constantly up. And that's a big thing too. Buffs have to be up constantly, because if they're off, then you're going to have some issues. Mainly because rally is a part of your sustain and on top of potions. But with potions, I try to like hold them until I absolutely need them, because as important as they are with sustain, it's like you don't want to have to use potions constantly to try and fix stuff. Like if you're in a situation where like you need that potion and there's a lot of burst, use the potion. But if you can manage not using the potion, don't use the potion, just because there's going to be times when you really just need to survive. And when you're in that situation when you need to survive, hit the potion and you'll be able to survive. Wow, I said survive a lot. Anyway, I guess talking about the sets one more time. Comparing Powerful Assault versus Witch Knight, Powerful Assault might be in a slightly better position just because it can be backbarred, whereas Witch Knight is a great set, but it can't, like I said before, it can't be backbarred, and it only affects weapon skills, which means it doesn't affect vigor on your front bar, which is okay, because I mean, if you're an orc, you already have an enormous amount of damage, so it won't matter anyway. That's just to kill people faster. But Powerful Assault on the Nord, which is a part of the setup, it's a very good cohesive setup. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. If I ever do level a Nord, I'll have to run it on this build. Actually, I do have my Mag Decay's a Nord. I might try it on her. Okay, yeah, it's not a bad idea. But yeah, if I ever get around to it, I will have clips of playing this build on my Mag Decay, which is a Nord that I never play anymore. So it might be better to convert her over, since she already has most of the stats needed. I can't believe I just thought of that. So yeah, maybe by the time I get ready to do that video, I'll probably do the Orc first, but I'll be using the Redguard as a surrogate. I won't actually have an Orc. And I'll do that. So that's pretty much it. I think I'm done. I don't think there's anything else left to talk about. I'm just going to get the build videos ready, so most likely they're going to be ready by Wednesday, latest Thursday. One is going to be one day before the other, unless I get all the editing done, but that's probably unrealistic since I have so much. I think I have 8 videos to edit this week, but that's about it. I want to say thanks again for watching. Thanks again for keeping me company. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the video, and I'm outie. Keep slaying, warriors. Later.